Broncos country, that is right. You are seeing it. You are reading this correctly. The Denver Broncos are officially the 2025 AFC West Champs. It's been 10 long, miserable, tough years since the Broncos had won their division. Sean Payton talked about it over the last few weeks. He's told the team, goal number 1, clinch your division. Goal number 2, clinch the 1 seed. Goal number 3, win a Super Bowl, right? So one of those 3 have now been checked off. The other 2 is going to be up to the Broncos. And the cool part about us reaching goal number 2, Paul Archuleta, my guy, hell yeah. Best part about being able to reach goal number 2 is that we're in full control of that. We're in full control right now. All we have to do, right, make it sound easier than it actually is going to be, but we got to win next week at home against the Chargers, and the Broncos clinch the number 1 seed and play every single playoff game at home. So it's going to be massive. What does that mean for that game? Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what it is that it means. But before we get into all the different scenarios and everything like that, man, let's just take a second, guys, to really appreciate this moment, right? Who would have thunk it, man? Who would have thunk it that the Broncos would have won the AFC West this quickly in Bo Nix's second year, right? I think a lot of us felt like they could, the Broncos could take that next step and, maybe win a playoff game this year. And there were some people out there that said we had a shot at the division, no doubt about it. But, man, to be able to lock it up with 1 game remaining before the new year even starts is incredible. Just unbelievable team, man. Unbelievable team. And, what the Texans and Chargers game today showed is that, dude, a really good defense could obviously keep you in it, but man, it's the smallest little things that could be the biggest mistakes for teams. And as much as at some point, the refs were horrible in this game, like even on the last play call that ended up sealing the game for the Texans, I was just like, what are you guys doing? But there was a lot of calls that went into the favor of the Chargers to at least get back into the game. And it's crazy. Like, is the Chargers, are they really cursed? Are they really cursed, man? Because the refs really tried to help them out, and they just continued on making inexcusable mistakes, right? In an amazing effort, like Cameron Dicker, the most accurate kicker in the NFL, misses a chip shot. Then he misses a extra point that would have got the game within a field goal. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy, crazy stuff, man. So unbelievable. Let's get some of the comments, and then we'll get into some of these scenarios, man. Vic Chen, 8655, down goes the Sparkles. I'm assuming you mean in the Chargers, right? They were sparkling today, barely. They were like barely igniting, I would say. Oh yeah, let's go. We are AFC West champs. Hell yes, we are, man. I did send this link out in the Discord, so we might have a couple of buddies joining here. But yes, you still got to win in Week 18 because New England is probably not losing the last 2 games. I agree. In a way, I kind of hope that they don't. I mean, it would take a massive upset for them to lose to the Jets, but the Broncos should have something to play for in Week 18. They really should. It's good for this team to be callous, to stay on their P's and Q's and feel like they're playing, playoff-like games even before the playoffs actually start. So I'd like to see them go out there and take it fully seriously. But it's going to be interesting because how are the Chargers going to handle Week 18? I think from the Broncos standpoint, you can't worry about that. You can't worry about it too much. But essentially right now, the AFC is essentially set in a sense of we know 6 of the 7 teams that are going to make the playoffs. The Broncos, the Patriots, the Jags, the Steelers, the Bills. No, sorry, not the Steelers. The Broncos, the Patriots, the Jags, the Bills, the Texans, and the Chargers. Those are the 6 playoff teams. The number 4 seed in the AFC West crown is still up for grabs, essentially just between the Ravens and the Steelers. So we'll see what ends up happening that. But we do know that those are going to be the case. Most likely, it's going to be, let me see what the schedule is looking like. Oops. Pull this up real quick. So the Steelers are playing the Browns, and then they play the Ravens. So that could come down to a full Week 18 as well. They play the Browns tomorrow, Ravens next week. We'll see. I don't know who the Ravens play. I'm assuming they're playing the Bengals. No, they play the Packers tonight, actually. That's right. So there's actually a chance that they could be eliminated. There's no Lamar Jackson. They're playing the Packers. It could be 2 backup quarterbacks. I don't know if that eliminates them entirely. I got to look into it. If anybody in the chat knows, let me know. Patriot fans saying go Pats. It's a great season for y'all too, man. Hell of a year for both franchises, really. I did pick it for what it's worth, man. Before we were doing mock drafts, and I said the team that I think is going to go from, one of the worst to making a playoffs is the Patriots. I felt like they were doing really good things. I didn't think they would be as good as they are, but yeah, great season for them as well. No doubt about it. But we'll see, man. So yeah, let's pull this up. Eventually, you'd figure I'd know how to use this pretty well, but I'm still at the point in my life where I'm not very good at it. Let's pull up the standings right now. So if the Steelers were to win this week against the Browns, they would go 10-6. And if the Ravens lose today, they would be 7-9. Yes, that would essentially clinch it for the Steelers. I believe the Ravens have to win out, and the Steelers have to lose out in order for them to make the playoffs. So it looks like we pretty much know what it's going to be set, and it's all about what are these bottom 3 seeds going to be? Is Buffalo going to be the 5? Are they going to be the 2 potentially, or are they going to be the 6 or the 7? So we'll see. The Texans right now hold the tiebreaker, obviously, over the Chargers. I believe the Bills do as well. Looking at, I think the second. I don't know how these tiebreakers work, man. There's so many of them. But they do have right now the same conference. They're not as good in the division. It's crazy. The Chargers, man. The Chargers are not going to win the division this year. And they could be the 7th seed, and they went 5-0. They haven't lost to a division opponent yet. So that's pretty wild. That's kind of unfathomable to see. But the Chargers will still have something to play for. It's essentially, are they going to be the 5 seed, the 6 seed, or the 7? Some of that does depend on the other teams. And I think what's important to look at, you got the Bills, right? Who the Bills this week will play Philadelphia. They are at home, so that's a really big game because that could shape a lot of things. If Buffalo wants to have a chance to still win the division, they'll need to win that game. And then Houston already played, LA already played. So then we look to week 18, right? And none of these have actually been determined yet in terms of the times in which we're playing. So we don't even know when the Broncos are going to be playing, but there's a possibility that the Buffalo game and the Houston game, which is going to be versus Indianapolis, those could actually be before ours. So there could be if both those teams win, the Chargers just get locked into the 7 seed, and it is what it is. I'll say this to the Pats fan that was in here, right? They went from 4-13 to probably 14-3 at the end of the regular season. Yeah, I will say this, man. You kind of I'm curious who you'd rather play. Like, let's assume you guys stay at the 2 in the first round of the playoffs. You're either going to play Buffalo, which I don't think you want to play, or you're going to play Houston or the Chargers. Really tough opponents. That's what makes the AFC really weird this year, is that a lot of the wild card teams are better than some of the division champs, or they match up really well, especially like the 3 and the 4 in the division. So curious who you would prefer to see there in the AFC West playoffs. But again, Broncos have to take care of business, man. Who knows how the Chargers are going to play the game? If I was Jim Harbaugh, I would probably play my starters some, but you got to think about it. Like, they've been decimated with injuries this year. They've had terrible injury luck, like they seem to have every year. Do you really want to risk getting your guys hurt, or knowing that you're going to go first round of the playoffs is going to be a road game? Do you want to go in there as healthy and as fresh as possible? That's something that they're going to have to debate and decide. But I know with Denver, it's going to be balls to the wall. It's going to be go all out. You got to win this game. It's massive. Like, getting the number 1 seed, you're playing 50% less games than anybody. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. And to have every game be at home would be massively important too. So we will see. I would agree, Patriots fan. I'd say probably the Chargers, just because the Chargers, man, they've had so many injuries. And when you're that weak on the O-line like they are now, like, it just makes it almost impossible for teams to win consistently. That's why I felt really good about Houston's chances today against the Chargers, because obviously Houston's got a really good defense, but the Chargers' offensive line is an absolute mess. an absolute mess. And kudos to Justin Herbert, man. He's playing his ass off, like trying to keep his team in it, and their defense is pretty good. But yeah, I mean, if you can get after the quarterback, if you have a good pass rush, you're gonna have some success against the Chargers. So we're gonna see. But this is crazy, man. This is an unbelievable time right now. 135 people on the stream. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Broncos, AFC West Champs, man. 2025 AFC West Champs. It's an amazing feeling. It's been an amazing year. And this is a really weird year in the NFL at all because there's so many mixed opinions. There's not really any elite teams in both the NFC and the AFC. Like, I think the best teams in the NFL right now are, if I was going to say a top 5, and I'm not even going to give any specific order, I would say, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the NFC, the Broncos, the Bills, and the Pats in the AFC. I mean, those are really the 5 best teams, but none of them are really elite, and all of them are beatable, which is why it makes it such an important year for teams that want to win the Super Bowl because you have a big opportunity to. But it also makes it to where, like, man, it can be anybody's game. It really can be. So it's been fun. Like, a lot of people really high on Denver, a lot of people hating on Denver. I understand both sides. It is what it is. The same can be said about a lot of different teams, but it's amazing. It's amazing, dude. Like, it's been a really fun year, and it's nice, man. It's nice not having like the usual quarterbacks and the usual teams in the playoffs every year. I mean, obviously the Chiefs not being in the playoffs is awesome, but no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. It opens up a lot of opportunities for these other franchises, and for not just the franchises, but these young quarterbacks, for Drake May to make his name in the league, for Bo Nix obviously to make his name in the league, right? Can Justin Herbert kind of change a lot of the narrative around what he's done over the course of his time? It's going to be a big year for God, why am I blanking on his name? Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, right? What they're building is big time there. So it could be huge. It could be huge. And then Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah. So it's a lot of fun. CJ Stroud as well, another one of those young quarterbacks that's trying to really take the next step in his career. And then you look at the NFC side. Sam Darnold, can he stop the narrative of being a choker, someone that doesn't play well in the playoffs? Caleb Williams is going to get his first taste of the playoffs in his career. You got the Eagles, who are obviously the defending champs. The Panthers right now are in. It's not official that they're going to be in the playoffs, but as it stands right now, they would be in. So Bryce Young, right? And then you got, the Brock Purdy. You got Matthew Stafford, Jordan Love of the bunch as well. So a lot of new faces, a lot of old, older guys. It's pretty awesome. I was talking with my brother-in-law about this actually the other day. This is honestly the year for Allen. And in a way, like, taking my Broncos bias out of it, you're absolutely right. Like, it really is, because this is the one year where he doesn't have to deal with Mahomes, who's been obviously the biggest kryptonite for him, or Lamar Jackson at all in the playoffs. So it's a big opportunity. But here's the problem, in my opinion, with Buffalo. Their defense is just not very good. Like, they're buttery soft. You can run on them pretty well. And they're relying a lot on Josh Allen. It doesn't mean that they can't win the Super Bowl this year, but Josh Allen's going to have to continue to be Superman and some. Sean McDermott, I don't know how people feel about him. I've heard good things, and I've heard some bad things, that, like, he's just a very unlikable person. But this is a make or break year for that entire franchise, because this is a massive opportunity for them. So we'll ultimately see. Got me with another thumbnail. Greg Miller, man, I missed you, dog. I missed you, bro. It's been a minute since you've been in here trolling. So I appreciate you tuning in. Definitely been a minute since we've had the troll. So yeah, we'll see, man. It is a big year. Broncos and Rams in the Super Bowl, both. Curtis Knight is saying that. Pure Surf Clip saying the same thing. That would be fun. That would be fun. That would be a one team where I feel like we don't actually match up really well against. Because PS2 might be able to limit Puka, but they got Devontae Adams, man. They got a really, really high-flying offense. Their defense is pretty solid. I think the Rams are a really good team. That would be so fun. The Broncos being in the Broncos being in the Super Bowl would just be a dream in general this year, with all that's gone on and everything that we've kind of overcome, and over the last few years, eating $88 million in cap space, moving on from Russ. Drafting Bo Nix, continuing to build as much as you possibly can, and to be there, that would be amazing. But again, there's still a only one of the 3 goals that we had set foot as a Bronco franchise, only one of those 3 have been accomplished. And this one was at the mercy of another team winning. So, yeah, it's cool to be AFC West champs, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not able to make it to the Super Bowl. And the best opportunity that you get to make it there is by clinching the number 1 seed, which we can do this week again. So crazy, crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Go Texans. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Perso. Thank you for the gifting the 5 Marcky Sports Denver memberships. I appreciate you. That's awesome. Super, super awesome of you. Shout out to Sean Payton and George Payton. Yeah, man. I mean, just think about it. Like, not just eating all the cap space, but letting go of guys, admitting that you made mistakes on guys that you paid big money to in free agency, right? Like Randy Gregory, and being able to find bargains like Brandon Jones, right? That come in and make a huge impact. Moving on from Draymond Jones to get Zach Allen. I mean, dude, there's a million different examples. Building the offensive line, continue to develop these guys. It's been truly, truly fun to watch. So I love it. They have exceeded all expectations, but I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what, Viction, like, if you get the number 1 seed, right, that's phenomenal. That's goal number 2. You get a home playoff game. Absolutely. I think we're already, you can already say at that point that you're ahead of schedule, but you still do got to win a playoff game, in my opinion, to really feel like you actually took a massive step. So yes, I love it. I love it, man. But we'll see. We'll see. How you guys feeling? Let me know in the comments. Comments is blowing up right now. We got 187 people currently on the stream. That's amazing. Amazing. So hope you guys enjoying this Saturday. We got a fun game tonight, I think, too, between the Ravens and the Packers. So we'll see. I'm weird. Like, I like games where 2 backup quarterbacks play. I always kind of find it interesting because, it gives you an opportunity for other guys to really show what they can do. I like Malik Willis. I think he's looked really good in Green Bay. Hopefully he gets another chance to play for another franchise and start in the near future, because I think he's actually been pretty solid. But the Ravens haven't had a good backup in God knows how long. But we'll see. I'm curious too, man. Like, is this John Harbaugh's last year? Is he somebody that should absolutely be on the hot seat if they end up losing and being eliminated from the playoffs tonight? Or do you think that they should keep rolling with him? I think you can make the argument that they might have to move on, because he's had Lamar Jackson. He's had really good teams for many, many years, and he's done nothing. Now, I've always been like a quote-unquote Lamar Jackson hater, right? Because people think I think he sucks just because I say he's overrated. I don't think he sucks, but I do think he's massively overrated. And I've seen his style of quarterbacking, his style of play doesn't usually allow for you to win in the big games. And we'll see. We'll see. There might need to be a change of scenery there. But I agree. BBL LeBron. He is on the hot seat. Yeah. A bye and home field advantage off of that bye would be massive. Our fans are loud, and the altitude is for real, man. It would be incredible. And again, like, you're playing 50% less games. You win 1 playoff game, and you're a game away from the Super Bowl. So it would be huge. Everything's got to come through us. It would be it would sure be fun. It would sure be fun. But we'll see. We cannot rest on our laurels. We haven't really accomplished all that much up to this point, if you think about the season in totality. But goal number 2 is to win next week. And it is nice having a mini bye. I'll say that. It's really nice having a mini bye going into this game. I think it gives you a little bit extra time to prepare some of these guys' bodies to get right. And we'll see, man. We got a lot of injury questions, and it's right in line with what Chris 5280 saying. Like, is Brandon Jones going to be back for the playoffs? He could be. He was put on IR, if I'm not mistaken. So technically, was he put on IR? I think he was, right? Yeah. Let me pull that up just to make sure, because I know it was like we were hypothetically playing with how many different guys were going to be in IR. So we'll see, because I know that Luke Wattenberg was. Yeah. The Broncos, they did place him on IR. So he missed the Chiefs game. That's 1. The Chargers game would be 2. So technically, he would be if we get the number 1 seed, and we win the divisional game, that would be 3, and we win the championship game, that would be 4. He would technically be eligible to only come back for the Super Bowl. So could he? Yes, but we have to make it to the Super Bowl for us to get him back. Another big one is Dre Greenlaw, right? They didn't put him on IR, which was big news. That means that they don't expect for his hamstring injury to be that serious. I still don't think he plays in Week 18, but could he play in the playoffs? If we get a bye week, I think there's a really good chance that we could have him back for the playoffs. So that was big news. That was really, really big news for the Broncos as well. And yeah, that's really the big ones. Hufanga, it looked like his injury wasn't all that big of a deal, so that's good news. So we'll see. We will see, man. That's gonna be frustrating. Actually, hold on. My apologies. Sorry about that with Brandon Jones. My fault. I made a mistake there. Brandon Jones got injured versus the Packers, so he's technically been out 2 games. It'll be 3. So yes, if the Broncos were to make the playoffs, he would be back in the second playoff game eligible. So if we won the first seed and we won the first game, he'd be eligible to come back for the championship game, depending. But that's just when he's eligible, right? You don't really know the severity of his pec injury. If it's a grade 2 or a grade 3, then he's probably not going to be ready to come back anyways. But he would be eligible to come back before. So we will see. I guess it's kind of a blessing in disguise that it's already been a couple weeks since he's gotten hurt. So the time is ticking. I don't like the whole narrative of like, if you put someone on IR, they got to miss 4 games. I think it should be 4 weeks. It's kind of screwed us a couple times this year. You know, you put a guy on IR like PS2 right before the bye week. The bye week doesn't count towards that. You have to play the game afterwards. We elected to not put him on, but that was just one example. And this one, if you earn the bye, it should count to be able to get some of your guys back as well. But in a way, you're kind of being punished. So, it makes it a little bit annoying. That's something that they'll go back and review in the offseason. But that's unfortunately how it works now. Otherwise, somebody that the Broncos could get back, kind of sick of talking about him. It's almost pointless to talk about him because he's always been injured. But Drew Sanders is someone that we could get back, and we are very thin at linebacker. And not saying he's going to come in and start, but he could add a unique dimension. Because what I do like about Drew Sanders is the coaching staff loves him. And he's definitely like the fastest and the most athletic linebacker that we would have. So he'd be able to give you something if he's able to come back and be healthy. But I haven't heard anything from him. So I have no idea. But we'll see. We might hear something next week. Maybe they open up the clock and they start to get him to practice a little bit this week, get his feet wet underneath him. We'll see. That would be cool. This would be a really good game to go out there and give him a couple reps if he was able to play. But yeah, I'm not even holding my breath on Drew Sanders either, because I feel like if you were going to get him back, it'd have been ideal to have him like in the last couple weeks, not really moving forward. Because even if you get him, how much is he really going to contribute? What kind of shape is he in? You don't want to kill the kind of the mojo of what this team's got either, because you are going to have to cut somebody from the 53. So we will see. We will see how that ultimately works out. But yeah. And then, Karene Reed is someone else to look at. We've opened up the eligibility for him to come back, but they haven't activated him quite yet. And that's important because I think they're really wanting to see what they got with Greenlaw, because they know that if they're ultimately going to put Greenlaw on IR, then they can activate Karene Reed. Otherwise, who are you going to cut? Is it almost not worth it to have Karene Reed come back and keep an extra player on the 53? Or are you going to look at cutting somebody else? So we will see. We will see how that ends up going. And then we can't also forget, guys, J.K. Dobbins has a chance of coming back. We haven't heard anything. They've been silent on it. But they said he could come back in the playoffs at some point. So you might hear some news about J.K. Maybe J.K. Dobbins can help you bring a little bit of a spark. What's nice about the running back position is that you can be off for 2 months and you can come in and, obviously you're going to have a limited workload, but you can still contribute. And we've seen the kind of running back that he can be when he's healthy. So that would be a major lift to the offense and the run game as a whole if you're able to get J.K. Dobbins back, while still, leaning on R.J. Harvey in this run game. So there's a lot. There's a lot, man. It's going to be a really fun Week 18, really across the entire NFL. But this is those games where it's always nerve-wracking because there's one game left and there's so much on the line. Like, if you really want it to be as relaxing of a Week 18 as possible, then you'd have to root for somehow, some way, the Jags to lose to the Colts with Phillip Rivers and the Patriots to lose against the Jets and their third-string quarterback. I don't think either of those are happening. Either of them. So regardless of how you spin it, it's going to be a big game for the Broncos. And really, I think in hindsight, we're going to look at it and say that's a really good thing. But what we do know is we get regardless of what happens this week, we do get one home playoff game. It's just a matter of, are we playing wild card weekend? Are we playing in the divisional round? We are fixing to find out, my guys. Yes. Rick Diaz, I agree. Everyone keep an eye on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could be a surprising team. Absolutely, man. They're very good. We witnessed it firsthand. Very good, very well coached on both sides. They take the football away like crazy. They got a good run game. Trevor Lawrence is playing out of his mind. So they're going to be a really fun team to look for as well. And Happy New Year's to you, man. Hope you all drive safely. Definitely don't drink and drive. I hope 2026 is an amazing year for everybody. 2025 has been, for me personally, a very up and down year. I think most years are up and down. It's had some tough times, but always got to count your blessings. But hopefully 2026 is wonderful for all you guys, man. Regardless of the teams that you represent, obviously, depending, no matter where you live, would be awesome for you guys to have a wonderful New Year's, man. So is Denver any good? You tell me, brother. You tell me. So we'll see, man. We'll see. It's going to be a really fun time. Yes, but going back to the injuries, Brandon Jones' injury has been very frustrating. The Luke Wattenberg one, I don't think is as worrisome. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but I always liked Alex Forsythe, man. I think he's really solid. Like, he's a very good backup. You saw how well he played against Kansas City. Obviously, we're going to have to see him continue to play very well and be consistent because the center position is very important. But the fact that he's been with the team for 3 years, the fact that him and Bo Nix have the chemistry that they do is great. Like, those are all really good things. But to go from Brandon Jones to PJ Locke, we saw how big of a downgrade that could be. PJ Locke, I think, really struggled, man. He really struggled in the game against the Jags. But he bounced back nicely against the Chiefs. So we'll see. At least we know what we have in him. But we're dangerously thin at that position. But what we do know is that we're going to have to roll with PJ Locke until further notice. So hopefully, there's not going to be, too many bad things that happen. I really want to see this defense start taking the football away, man. I'm sick of the defense not creating turnovers at all. I think we're one of the, I know we have like a -4 or -5 turnover ratio. Yeah, we're currently at -5, which is bottom part of the league, but we are like incredibly bad at taking the football away as well. We are among the worst. The Jets are the worst with 4 takeaways the entire season, which is abysmal. The Commanders with 9, they're 31st, 30th. We're tied for 29th in the NFL, or we're tied for 30th technically. No, 29th in the NFL, with just 12 takeaways the entire year. So definitely something that we need to have a massive improvement on. And if you look at it, like, the teams that are right around our range are all bad teams this year. The Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Commanders, the Jets. Even the Raiders have taken the football away more than the Broncos have. And so that's one thing that you always notice. And then the teams that have taken the football away the most are very good teams. The Bears, the Jags, the Texans, the Rams, the Steelers, the Seahawks. Those are the top teams that take the football away. The Chargers and the Bills are also in the top 10. So of all of the playoff teams, at least in the AFC, us and the Patriots are not even close to the top 10 when it comes to taking the football away. So yes, we need to see more turnovers come our way as well. That is one area where I'd like to see this defense take a really, really massive leap. If we're going to be leaking yards and we're still going to be good in the red zone, fine. But man, we need to take the football away. 12 takeaways in 17 games is not going to cut it at all. And yes, I get what you're saying. Like, if we're stopping them, no need to take it. Yeah, I get it. But man, talk about like the biggest momentum flips, right? And it buys you a little bit of insurance throughout the game when you take it away, you get yourself an extra possession, see if the offense can take advantage of it. Because when you're playing against really good teams, you're going to have bad days in the red zone. You're going to have bad days on third downs. We saw that against the Jags. And if we could have gotten a turnover or two against the Jaguars, I think we would have had still a very, very good chance of winning that game. We probably would have won that game. But because we didn't, we ended up getting rolled, and it ended up being too late by the time we were getting rolling. So I love it. AFC West Champs, baby. That's it. Let's go. Let's go. But all right, guys, we've been rolling for 30 minutes. We've had over 200 people on the live stream, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been fun. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys have a good week. Enjoy your new year. Happy New Year's to all of you. And we'll catch you on the flip side, baby. Go Broncos. 2025 AFC West Champs. I cannot believe it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're not already. Share it with a friend. Let's grow this thing together. I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day, man. Peace out.